Well, Tommy, it used to be cognac or brandy in the morning. What is it now?
Gee,
How long now?
6 years.
6 years off the drink.
6 years after drink now, yeah.
And how do you feel?
Feel good. Very good.
Not better, yeah? And do you feel that Galway now is a better place for you to live?
Oh, it's a better place altogether to live. It's much better than I was living in it before, like, you know.
What's the main difference?
I see life different.
Because of
that I'm sober, like I see it in a sober manner now. Like, which before I see it in a pure negative kind of manner, like, you know. Because of the booze, like, you know. Couldn't see anything nice about it. See everything now about it, like, you know.
It's sort of like new eyes.
Yeah, yeah. New way of life and new way of living.
You have a flat now?
You wouldn't see me here at a cappuccino with a bottle of wine in my hand or something.
You have a flat now?
I have a flat now, a place of my own now, yeah.
And how's that working out for you?
Good, not too bad. I'm hoping to get another new place. It's small, but I'm coping with it, you know.
Getting some help?
I get help up and down the line, yeah. Miles Murphy and them do me help.
Galway Social Services.
Galway Social Services,
Simon,
things like that, you know. I get a good boost, you know, from them. I get a good kick. I do a bit of visiting to some of the homeless, like, you know.
What do you do?
I do a bit of visiting to some of the homeless, like, you know. Because I was that way myself, like, you know. I don't forget where I came from. But, you know, I have to understand them as well as myself, you know.
And they know that you know.
They know that I know what they're going through, like, you know. I've been there and back again, like, you know.
What would you say is the main advice you give them? Or help?
Well, the main help is just trying. Well, if they're bad enough, I believe they should get hospitalised for a while, you know. It would do them good, you know, for a period of time. You know, I mean, not altogether, like, you know. And then from there on, work at themselves then, like, you know.
It took hospitalisation for you?
They did. At the end of my drinking, hospital I had to come into it, like, or else I would be dead, you know.
You went down to Ballinasloe?
I went down to Ballinasloe for a few years, yeah. It's nice to be like this, you know. One time you wouldn't see me sitting down here, I'd be plastered somewhere.
This is where it started, Tommy.
Did you write the book? I'm thinking of writing the book, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Perhaps I will.
Story of your life?
Well, I'll base it on the tape, like, you know.
Salut Philou.
Base it on what
Tu sais
tape?
s'il est parti, Eddie?
I base it on the tape that's being made at the moment.
This one now?
Yeah.
Clear the streets?
Clear the streets.
And you talk about your street life?
I'm talking about street life. Yeah. What it can do to a person and what it has done to me.
Yeah.
And the after effects that can cause, you know. And the people that are damaged and harmed in my life, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, my family and all that, you know. You can't bring them things back. But you try and make amends to them, like, you know. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, there's no use in crying over it, you know. You have to live on. Life is short and sweet, you know.
Would you start at the beginning of when you went on the street?
I started at the beginning, yeah, many years ago, you know. I suppose if I give most of my lifetime I spent on, there was always the traveller in me the whole time, like, you know what I mean. I'm breathing with travelling, man. You know?
How did you grow up as a young fella?
Well, I was settled. I was brought up settled, like, you know.
But from a travelling family?
But from a background, well, we say, on my mother's side, gypsies, like, you know.
Would you go off on summer time, off rambling, or?
No, I don't know that myself, you know, when I left home, you know, circumstances, we lost the home dwellings when the parents went, and I had to go, you know, we all went our own separate ways, you know. Sisters in Cork and a few sisters in that country, you know. They're doing well for themselves, you know.
And you got married then, did you?
I got married, I have 2 sons in Cork. Perhaps may take a wander down that direction. No, I mean, there's nothing to hold me back really, like, you know.
You were running a business?
When I had well, you would call it a business, yeah. I was scrapping stuff like that, you know.
So
odd jobs then as well on top of that, you know. I mean, painting job and stuff like that, you know. And then I done a bit of welding in my time as well, making wrought iron gates and that. Done bits and pieces and stuff like that, you know. It's very versatile in my time, like, you know.
were you a heavy drinker then?
No, I wouldn't say I was a heavy drinker. I was fairly, you know, could control it. Then things start happening, you know. When I got married, I had a very premature son. He was thought to be going to die, so I hit the bottle then, I hit it heavy. So marriage didn't last long after that, you know. Then another child was born, then I've never seen that boy.
You left
William, yeah, well, she was pregnant one of them. So, yeah.
Where did you go?
I went around the country, I travelled every inch of this country, I'd say, foot nearly, you know, so say, coming and hitching from here, staying in county homes and glass houses, and you name it, I was in it. Nothing to be proud of, you know,
But you never looked back?
I never looked back at it, you know, and today I don't look back at it, you know.
I mean, you had many good times along the road.
I had many good people, I met many characters I met on the road, you know. There's a fellow I met called Mar, he wrote the book called The Road to God Knows Where. I don't ever think that became a success, but it can be got, there's a version that can be got if you ever get it. I think you might get in some very, it wasn't properly published then, I don't think, like, you know.
Did you leave Ireland at all?
No, I was in Wales for a while. I didn't like that too much. Because my wife was kind of Welsh descendants, you know, Welsh travelling woman.
Did you hang around with travelling people a lot on your way?
I did, yeah. Most of the travelling people, all the time, yeah.
You were always welcome in a camp?
I could go in any camp because I spoke their language, like, you know.
What was that?
So, with the Irish travellers it's called Cant. And then you had Romany, then you had Gypsy language.
Would you have been able for the Romany as well?
I would have been able for both, yeah.
That's only
I was versatile in both of them, you know. Yeah. I understood their ways, and, you know, they've their own ways of doing things, like, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, food that the real gypsy eat, like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't think that ordinary people would like the hedgehog cooked and baked in clay, roasted over a fire.
Hotchy witchy, is it?
Hedgehog really is a pig, like, you know. He's a version of a pig. If you ever look at a hedgehog, you see the little nose is kind of like a pig's nose. You know? It's really, you know.
Did you ever settle with another lady?
No, never settled really, no. Been with a few, but never settled it, you know, never bothered to settle it.
Yeah. Did the wife ever come after you and say?
No, she was well off, like, you know what I mean. She'd her own, she'd everything herself, like, you know, she really wanted for nothing. Her parents were fairly, you know, were fairly wealthy, like.
So you weren't worried then about that?
There were vans and cars and, you know, I mean, her brothers does tarmacking and things like that, and lorries and all that, you know. So she never wanted for anything, because they were a family that were very close-knitted, like, you know. I mean, drinking didn't fit in there, like, because none of them were
drinkers.
you know, what kind of people that messed around, like, you know, they believed in full-time work, no drink, maybe drink once a month or something like that, you know, or no occasion. But when I hit it heavy.
When you arrived in Galway, did you think this is a place now I'll stay for a while?
It's a place now where I might cut myself on.
That's what you thought?
I thought, but I ended up in a load of places, you know.
Yeah.
The roughest place was the bridge, I think.
When you slept down below underneath?
Yeah. I still have nightmares of that place.
Really? Because it was cold and wet.
Cold and wet. God only knows who'd throw a rock down on top of you or something. I had an air escape there one morning. A rock landed alongside me. I went to say not a rock, a boulder. Like, close knitted, like, you know, with the rats and everything down there. Well, at that stage I didn't care really, like, you know.
Yeah. Must be scary to look back sometimes.
It's scary to look back sometimes, but you know,
just
you have to forget, like, you know.
Yeah. You have the diabetes now?
I have diabetes now, yeah. Well, I'm controlling it very well, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm in 13 tablets in the morning. 3 at dinner and 3 in the evening. And 3 different stomach tablets.
Yeah.
That affects the drink. That's why I advise people to watch themselves drinking. It's all very nice when you're drinking it. You know, but you know, you don't realise the damage. Even social drinkers can get ill through drinking, like, you know, through certain drinks, you know.
Did you know the time when we made the movie?
Yeah.
1992 to 94.
Yeah.
Did that mean anything
well,
for you?
After I watched and seen it, you know, kind of the part that made me think, you know. It was educational to me as well, like, you know. To show me the way I was, like, you know what I mean.
It was like a reflection.
It was kind of a kick in the backside to me to a certain extent, like, you know.
Yeah.
No, seeing the way I was behaving.
Yeah. You think you could have imagined that this would be the way you are in 2006?
No.
Oh, really?
Well, a lot of people thought I'd be dead again then, like, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people today are surprised that I'm still alive.
Yeah. So here you are with beautiful friends and
Beautiful women around me.
and life is good.
Life is good.
Jeez, you'd be a good catch yet, Tommy. Huh?
Once bitten, twice shy.
But the sons will be proud of you now.
Oh, they would, yeah.
All together now, in no man's land, together. All together now, all together now, all together now, in no man's land. Remember, boy, that your forefathers died, lost in millions for our country's pride. Never mention the trenches we fell to when they stopped fighting and they were wild.
You're a good footballer in your day, though, Dennis. This is you in your new place. Well, you've been here a few years.
I've been here a long time.
How long?
You know,
Yeah.
since it opened. Over 20 years now.
But the new part now, this is new now.
This is the second part.
Mary McAleese opened this.
That's right. I met her.
I was here, yeah. Did you talk to her?
I did. Well, 12 years ago, I was drinking awful heavy at the time, and I was very bad with my legs. I couldn't walk at all. I was nearly all the time I was in bed. I couldn't get out of the bed, but I have to admit I was drinking here in the room, and they knew it. Because if I went outside, I wouldn't be able to make it back. There was once or twice I went out, and the guards had to lock me up because I lost the power of my legs. Broke my legs about 6 times. A wall fell down me in 1991. You remember that big storm? I think it was called Charlie. 2 died beside me that night. One was 18, the other lad 34. I missed them today. Like, I go visit the grave once a year. I say a prayer for them, and I saved 2 lads' lives that night. But I think it was terrible. There was no need for anyone to be sleeping out that night, because I have to say, even in living here in the hostel, that night there was 6 empty beds. If you keep drinking, there's only one place for you, is the graveyard. This is the best opportunity I ever had in my life. I think people should open their mind. It can be done. There's no such thing. They're down and out all the time, or the wino off the streets. Everyone change. When I was drinking, there was a lot of things I missed. But now I realise when I'm sober, I know a lot about life. There's a big change. Like when I was just walking around like a dope around the town, I can see that I thought the people were against me, but I find out they're on my side now. That's the difference, you know. I was a blackguard when I was drinking. I used to break windows, you know. I have to admit to that, you know. But today my life changed an awful lot, and it's for the better.
And how do you put in your time nowadays?
Well, I go to the bookies, to be honest, you know. And that time I go to the bookies, then I go for long walks out to Turryland, because that's where my people are from, Turryland. I like that area. It's a very homely part of the town, you know. And I go to my sister every Sunday to visit her, you know. And she's very good to me. She gives me a dinner. I'm happy the way I am at the moment.
Yeah.
Unless something is going to happen in the future, but I'm happy at the moment. Either way, I come to an age now, it's time for retirement, you know, and live up the best.
But you know you're the president of the Street People's Alliance.
Oh, I know that. I'm proud of that. And I think a lot of the people, there's not many now on the streets, but there is a few, you know that yourself. And the only way you can help them is yourself by, if you told them about these dry houses, but a lot of them won't stop. They just like coming here, because I tell you the mistake here. If they keep taking people here with drink, they're not going to stop, and you know that yourself. But if they have a dry house, you cannot come in here, then there'll be a big change. You see them, it won't be long sober.
And if what you're saying is if a work programme got connected with the dry house, so that people when they got dry also had something to do. That's
like,
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about the early days?
I do.
Could you tell us why were you put into an industrial school?
I tell you why. We had a tough life. My father was in the Irish Guards, you know. He fought in the battle of Dunkirk. He was a big man. There wasn't anyone here go over the handle. I had great time for my father. Even I don't like calling him an alcoholic, but he drank heavy. I couldn't say he was an alcoholic. But my mother wasn't able for him, and she was dying at the time. She died while I was in the hospital. We were all sent to the school, most of us. And that's when all the trouble started.
In St. Joseph Salt Hill?
Yeah, I seen a lad make his Holy Communion. The day before he made his Holy Communion, this brother brought him down to the room and raped him. The same lad stepped beside me in the dormitory, and I said, "What are you crying for?" "I'm after being raped," he says. The brother gave me a bag of sweets and an apple. I get nightmares over that school. What they did for one young lad, I could say this myself, they dressed this young lad up as a girl, you know, because he couldn't do his home exercise. They put a skirt on him, they put ribbons in his hair, and makeup from the blackboard, blue chalk under his eyes. yellow chalk on his cheeks and red chalk on his lips, and lifted them up in between, caught him between the legs and lifted them up over his head. Oh, you put on some weight since you left the convent, you know, since you came here. And not only that, there was a few of them I seen messing around with the lads in the shows, abusively, mentally abused, sticking the brush in between the prospect area with the scrubbing brush, turn on the hot water woman, and then you put plenty of soap in it, and then the water, it'll turn around cold. When you jump out, they hit you with the scrubbing brush. That was going on in that school. One lad was telling me there in the school, he was tied to a shoemaker's wooden table for leather. They're not making leather and shoes. They stripped him naked and strapped him and raped him. And this lad is still alive today. He comes here to visit me. That's the story he told me. But I didn't see it happening to him. But I believe it did happen to him, because I used to see him when he wet the bed like myself. You had to stand up in front of all the lads in the veranda and show your mattress. And you used to get bet. It was all beatings there. It was torture. And it was terrible. There was no life for anyone. I'm glad all them schools are shut up. I know a lad who was getting married, and they had to call off the wedding when he told her he was sexually raped, you know. And that lad is here in this town today. But that's the way the Christian brothers treat us, like animals. They should have never wore the collar on them.
And you grew up through your teenage years.
Through my school, and we played football. If we didn't win a match, we were bet. I ran away from that school one time, and I got to Atlow, and I told the guards what was going on in the school and saw it till they were sexually abused, the lads. I don't know, I had still a record of that. They should have. And they said, you won't be bet. They never went near me because the guards checked it out. And that was going on for years in the schools. And that's, a lot of them lads came out of that school. There's about 7 or 8 commit suicide. And one lad wrote a book, you know him yourself probably, No Tyranny. The Moon on My Back, I think. He died. I know another lad hanged himself. I think he hanged himself up in Christ Church. I know another lad that committed suicide up in Dublin. And another lad did away with himself here in Galway. There's about 7 or 8.
Coming away from that out into the world at the age of 17, what state, what state were you in?
16, I was backward. I was very shy. I couldn't talk to women. You know what I mean? I couldn't walk across the road in front of cars because I was so long. I was 13 years in the school. You know what I mean? If you looked at the way I suffered, I used to ask my own cousin to bring me across the road. I was afraid of motor cars. I was afraid to chat up a woman. I was working for cheap labour, £14 a month. I was living with my aunt. My aunt took me out when I was there for 2 years, and then she got me signed at the St. Bridget's Bannistow. I was there for 2 years in Bannistow.
Signed in as under what
for nothing.
Cause?
Because I ran away. I didn't get on with my aunt. I don't like talking about her because it wouldn't be right for me to talk.
What was it like in St. Bridget's?
Bad. I used to shave the dead people to get a smoke.
Shave them?
Yeah, shave, lay them out.
Prepare their bodies?
Bodies, yeah, for the mortuary. I used to get 20 fags. You might get 4 every month that died.
Were you in what's called the psychiatric?
I was,
or
yes.
the mental, as they call it.
Yeah, I was in number 1 as well.
That's the locked ward, is
locked up ward. I seen lads coming in there for drunk. They didn't need to be there at all.
Just like yourself?
Yeah, they weren't mad. I seen patients there getting electric shocks. There was nothing wrong with them. They were worse coming out than they were going in. I've been in an AB jail here in Ireland. I've been in St. Pat's. I've been in Mountjoy. I've been in Portlaoise. I've been in Limerick. I've been in Cork. Correct? I've been in Castlereagh, Loughlin House. I've been in Bannistow, Dundrum and Great Gorman. They're all the places I went in my time. I often tried to commit suicide. I tried to jump off a 70-foot crane in the square. You might remember that, the Christmas lights. I got 4 months for that. And I nearly fell off. And if I did, that was the end of my life.
So you never met...
My life, I look back at my life, there was nothing really to live for. I was only living from day to day, you know.
If anybody had said to you,
the best thing I ever did was giving up the drink. If I had my life to live again, I wouldn't have drank. I blame a lot on the drink and the schools.
Well, the drink came because of the schools, and the upbringing.
Yeah, that's what I blame. But thank God I have my head today. I'm looked after here. They're very good to me here. We see a doctor once a week here, you know, and we have everything here you want.
If anybody had
we'll
said...
get more here than a working man is getting, really.
Yeah. Anyhow.
But I had to do it for myself. No one did it for me. That's the story about AA or alcoholics. You have to do it for yourself. No one else can do it for you. You're not doing it for your family. You understand? You're doing it for yourself. And that's what I'm doing. It's for myself. Because if I didn't do it for myself, I'd be probably on a wheelchair today. I would die of cirrhosis in the liver or a wet brain. And I don't want to end up that way. I want to end up in a happy, peaceful life, sober.
You were always a great man for Jesus, weren't you?
I was. That's why they called me Simon.
He's the friend, isn't he?
He is. They call me Simple Simon. Put your hands up in the air.
The man who helped him with the cross, eh?
I helped homeless in this town. And I have to think of that too. If I didn't talk about homeless in this town, there'd be no hospital here today. I remember walking out to the Claddagh Palace in all kind of weathers, and all the Christmas lights were up, you know, and I had no Christmas tree in my shed. It was only the stable, that's what it was called that time. I don't even damp blankets to lie down in, you know, and I was nearly crying. I remember walking up Shop Street, and all coming down with presents. I had no presents, I had nowhere to go. It was just an ordinary day, a black day I call it. I had nothing at all that day. I wouldn't even have a cup of tea. And they'd be all with their families, and I was away from my family. But then I understand what it's like to be home. When you get a job, take it. He was only washing the cup. And that's what I say. That's what you should call it, the cup.
The cup?
Yeah. There's some crack, wasn't there?
How do you mean the cup?
The cup. Yeah, I'm only washing a cup.
Ah! So for many years you were holding the cup, begging with it.
Begging, yeah. No, good one. You should call it the cup night.
The cup. Well, we'll talk for the victory of these simple and true things to take place. You know, that people should be able to get off the drink and get a job with help.
Yeah.
And there would be no such thing as homeless.
All right.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, right.
All together now. All together now. All together now. In no man's land together. All together now. All together now. All together now. In no man's land. Remember, boy, that your forefathers died, lost their millions for our country's pride. Never mention the trenches we
So this is you, Mark, 10, 12 years later, still playing fighting with the boys.
Yeah. I was trying to behave myself until I met him, right?
Yes.
But old habits die hard.
But I mean, you didn't need drink all this
Oh
time.
no, I could beat him without drink any time. Look, I could beat him without drink any time. I don't need drink to beat him.
John, how is it that 12 years later, after Clear the Streets, you look better?
He does.
Now, how is that?
Well, I don't know.
You look happier or healthier?
I'm a sick man.
He's a much better man since he stopped speaking English, actually.
Yeah.
He stopped speaking English. He's now speaking a species of West Country, kind of cider. Plenty of cider in Somerset. He's talking like that. But John and I are all campaigners.
You never give up the drink, did you?
No, I didn't.
You do
That's
though.
why I go like this.
You do for 2 or 3 months at a time, don't you?
I do about a day of it. I do a lot of days on it.
And Mark, how do you feel since you give up drinking?
Oh, I feel very much better.
Yeah?
Well, I had a nice little anecdote, right? I met this guard who used to arrest me at every opportunity, right? He used to arrest me for things the likes of him did, not me. And I met him the other day, and I hadn't seen him for about 10 years, right? And he walked up to me and said, Mark? I said, yeah, that's right. He said, my God, he said, I wouldn't know you. He said, you finally saw the light. I said, no, my friend, I finally saw the darkness, and I fled from it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Can I squeeze?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Isn't that good? Now, today, how far is the sound on this? How far is the sound?
Yeah, well, carry on now, you're
Okay.
better.
The day that this town loses contact with this person and persons like him, that's the day that it's doomed. And it's very nearly doomed now, actually.
You see a lot of changes in the streets and in the
Yes,
life here.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
Less tolerance. Less tolerance. More thuggish policemen, I may say. You remember in our time how Mick the policeman was so friendly and lovely and he'd do anything rather than nick you. But now they're coming out of Templemore with what I call ape gimps on them, going down the street looking for a fight. So it's, but at the same time, one mustn't, one mustn't despair. And you know what they say, there's so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us that it ill behoves any of us
Not easy to hold it on.
criticize the rest of us. You'd agree with that being an omission.
You're the only man. You're the only man left. You're the last man standing.
You are. You are.
You're the last man standing.
Babby is dead. Pat's dead. Jerry's dead. Sean the Gypsy's dead. I could go on and on. Porky and Kilmartin is dead.
The Laffies are not around.
John Laffey is dead. Frankie Barrett is dead. I could go on all day about the people who are dead. Johnny Mongan is dead.
Tommy Mongan.
Johnny Mongan is dead. Tommy Mongan is dead. Michael Mongan is dead. Babby Stevens is dead. Sean Stevens is dead. John Stevens is dead. So like,
All men under 55.
all
say.
men well under 50.
Although Pat Stevens was.
Well, he was
Flipping at 58,
more
yeah.
near my age.
Yeah.
But you see, as much as anything that contributed to these men's death was the wall of intolerance they met in this town.
That's great.
Do you think that caused them to drink more and more?
Well, it may not have
Acutely.
caused them to drink more, but it caused them to care less about a condition called
Not careless.
life,
Careless.
human existence. It led them to care less, and therefore, as John says, become
I
careless.
said. Well, listen to me.
You know, it led them to sleep under walls that fell down on top of them. It led them to sleep in Bowling Green in the old slaughterhouse place and get murdered because they became careless. That's very good, John, actually.
What is it?
When people begin to care less about life, they become careless.
You yourself went through a darkness, a night of
I
the
did.
dark night
I
of the
did,
soul.
of course. I
The
did.
this moment too.
Now, was that something that for you was a transition into a new kind of life?
Well, in my case, you see, I got tired trying to, and I mean this, buying into what's conventionally called a bourgeois life. You know, I got the mortgage and I tried to pay it, and the faster I ran, the further I got behind, like a lot of people. So I finally decided I need an alternative to this. And in the late 60s and 70s, I went to a remote island to live the simple life like a hippie. But that time I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, and I ate a lot of brown rice, which I didn't like. I didn't like. And so I tried to live the simple life.
Why?
Because I needed an alternative to the madness of what I like to call the kingdom of Mammon. The god of money is Mammon.
I ain't got no money.
So I was lucky.
I know,
Because much as I tried to sell out, I couldn't.
But then you came back to Galway and you lived that kind of
I came back to
respectable life.
Galway and got a job as an executive in a company in Galway, and I had a car and everything like that. But every time I saw lads like John around, you know, living what I thought was the carefree life, I thought, these are the boys, really. I don't want to be in the Great Southern with these jerks talking about the price of this, that, and the other. I want to be free, man. And unfortunately, the only way to get free for me was like in the 60s when the kids took acid as a kind of rite of passage. The only way to get out of it was to get out of it. You know?
Then you got out of it and you went what people would have said, down and out.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yes,
no,
like
down but not out. We were down, but we're never out. You know what I mean? Is that right, John?
Well, I wouldn't know. All right, that's cool.
But then you did give up drink and there was a change in your life.
Well, drink kind of gave me up. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you actually why. Not why I gave it up, because that's a deeply mysterious thing. But something touched me very deeply regarding I cannot leave my children a dead, drunken father as a memorial. I will not do that. And somehow, when I opened myself to the grace that comes from openness, I was able, in a flash, to stop drinking. I had, in a sense, a Damascus experience. You drink it for me, John.
No, I
suits
won't.
you
This
better.
is yours. I'm taking it off you.
Okay, you do it. One night, I was walking down Shop Street with a bottle of Buckfast in my hand, and I was as sick as I've ever been from drink. I was passing Church Lane. I walked up Church Lane. I left the bottle of Buckfast on the ledge and walked away. I entered into about a month of the most horrible withdrawal I had ever experienced.
Will you put your eye on that and
But
stop
I
listening
think
to me?
as I said, I had a momentary insight which said, do not leave as a memorial to
forsake
your
me,
children
home at door.
and your grandchildren that their father died drunk in the street. Does that make sense? But even if it doesn't, it doesn't matter really. But I had a lot of help.
Over the top.
It was a struggle.
I had a lot of help from the few people who never lost faith in me. And I may say that you yourself were one of them. Despite all the abuse I gave you, despite testing you to the utmost, you never lost faith in me. And that was true of a few other people too. You know, a few nice people in this street, you know, who kind of give you the idea that you might be worth living after all. And of course we have Tom Power, who has come back from the dead.
Yes, back from
Dennis
Mark
Connolly, who is back from the dead. John O'Loughlin, who is holding the fort
Right, Mark
here
Kennedy,
on the street until the light dawns.
Light dawns.
Yes,
For
and then
him.
we won't need people like John anymore.
Oh, you mean for people?
Yes.
Right.
people-
But we'll always need people like John.
Well, no, we won't. Not when they're all like John. You see all them over
Take an
there?
ass.
Take a shot over there. They won't mind. And all that. They're all like John, only they're afraid to take the brakes off.
Well, mind you, people take breaks off. They take breaks. They take breaks from the role.
Well,
That's what going out and having a good time is. Being friendly, having a laugh. Having a laugh.
Well, I know a lot of people in this street who are paying an awful high price for having a good time. And I'm exempting John from this. I see people sitting outside there and a couple of other places who are degenerating constantly under the guise of having a good time. And you know them too.
I don't know.
You know.
No, I just want to get a nice shot of the two of you.
Okay.
This man obviously loves you a lot.
Oh, he does, yeah. He can't help himself. Because the love that's in him, he sees it in me, you see. But a lot of people love him too, you see. Every time I come down here, people are giving him gifts. They're giving him drink, they're giving him cigarettes, they're giving him food.
€3, and by the way,
And he is, in effect, the only Irish guru at large. Is this man.
You're a guru, John.
He is, yeah. He's a dispeller of darkness. Well, guru means dispeller of darkness. And when people see you, they see reality. They see a man who won't have truck with hypocrisy, who won't have truck with the so-called modern life. No, you do. No. You do care. But you care about things that are not important to most people. You care about freedom, you care about love, you care about friendship, you care about your mother, you care about having a good time, you care about your children, you care about your wife, you care about all those things.
Well, John, guilty as charged.
What did he say to us one night? Not from the bottom up. What did he say to us one night? Yeah, he was sitting there and he said something that sounded like we rule from the bottom up.
Oh yeah, they stoop to conquer.
We stoop to conquer, he said. We stoop to conquer. And indeed, not only do we stoop to conquer, we prostrate to conquer if that's necessary.
John, you said that.
He did say that.
Yeah. You say a lot of things. You say a lot of things.
Look, we're getting a nice look. Zoom in over there.
Not doing any more of that.